Welcome to the Ethical Affiliate, the podcast that's all about living life on your own terms through the exciting world of ethical affiliate marketing. I'm your host, Ida.
And I'm Tim.
And in each episode, we'll be exploring the possibilities, strategies, and mindset shifts that can empower you to build a business that aligns with your values and allows you to design the life you've always dreamed of.
Join us as we share our journey and hear from industry experts and successful affiliate marketers who have embraced this new approach to business. Discover the strategies they use to navigate the ever-evolving digital landscape, build sustainable income streams, and most importantly, live life on their own terms.
So buckle up and get ready for a journey into the world of ethical affiliate marketing. This is the Ethical Affiliate, where we believe that living life on your own terms is not just a dream, it's a reality waiting to be created. Thanks for joining us, and let's dive in. Good morning, evening, whatever it is. Don't mind me, I'm just fiddling with my microphone. Welcome to what episode is it? I don't know, 19 or 20? 19. God, that's good. We're almost past that small percentage of podcasts that make it past the 20th episode. Woohoo!
That's a great leap forward,
How are
isn't it?
you, Tim?
I'm well, Ida. I'm
Jeez.
really well. You're very blurry. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, YouTubers. The millions of people that are watching this clip.
Oh, imagine all those emails
Sorry.
we're going to get.
I know, right? So what's been happening? How has
really
your week
well.
been?
I've been moving location, so that's been interesting. Having spent 28 days in one stable location and then having to pack up in a not a panic exactly, but it's always more to do with at the end of it than I always realised. So
Yeah.
left the house immaculate, got a good testimonial or reference sort of thing, so that'll be good. And I'm here with a kitty cat now for a week, just a week or so.
Nice. You digital nomad.
Well, I am really, yeah. I'm living the dream life, Ida. She's living the dream life. I've got everything portable. I've got everything. I can't say it's all perfectly organised, but I'm getting there. I've got little bags for things, and I'm feeling like I'm getting on top of it. Sounds ridiculous because we've actually been doing it for about 5 or 6 years, off and on.
But how awesome, though. Look at you. You've got absolute freedom. You are living life on your terms.
That's right.
And isn't it interesting that it's not always easy, but neither is life on anyone's terms. So you'd rather it not be easy on your own terms, right?
Well, that's a really interesting way of looking at it. It'd rather be easy on my own terms. Yep. Totally agree with that. It's like working for a boss that you hate. You know, business is hard, but wouldn't you rather work yourself? Or I would, obviously.
Or just live life by your choice, by your choosing, and it's not always, sometimes circumstances dictate because, we're in between one phase of our life and entering into another.
Yep.
But, like really it's of our choosing.
Right.
It's and it's funny that it's a good segue into our topic du jour today, or today's episode topic.
Yeah.
It is fear and how it can dictate our decision making. How does it really dictate our life? How we allow it to dictate our lives, and the importance of facing that fear.
Yeah.
The whole journey with it. So, and there you are doing it. Like, I find what you do really quite challenging, and I would find it scary. I did it temporarily, like when I was traveling years ago.
Yeah.
But to do it now, it's a lot of organization, and you're very disciplined that way, I have to say. You're quite disciplined in the way that you live your life and carry yourself. You actually truly live by your word. And that's not an easy thing to do. Watching you and your whole attitude to life is just like, well, you're just doing it, really. You're doing it and you're figuring out as you go.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it's good you put that last bit because, yeah, it's not all, it's a bit like a duck on the water kind of thing. There's a bit of paddling going on underneath sometimes. Um,
We're always paddling, I think, aren't we? Mm,
but uh, in particular, right now in Perth and maybe other parts of the world, certainly parts of Australia, it's very difficult to get accommodation or it's insanely
mm,
priced. And so part of the challenge with doing this and part of the fear, we are talking about fear, is that where am I going to stay in
mm,
between? And
mm,
like I had to find a place last night for one day, one night, and
mm,
but straight after this, it's flowing from this one to the next one. So I've actually got uh, 30, 35 days in a row in two different
mm.
places. Um,
Right.
so I was staying in a place that was was a hotel, and that was a reasonable price, but they're now pulling it down for redevelopment. And so I'll stay there a couple of times and now found another place, which is basically someone's opening up their home and they've got rooms there and, full facilities and kitchen and stuff like that. So that's a little bit slightly dearer, but it's still, well, it's reasonable. Um,
Mm,
so I managed to tee that up last night, and now I'm in here. So part of that thing is like, I mean, it's weird. I don't at my age, I don't want to do this, but sometimes I think if it's just too hard, I'll just sleep in the car until the next day. I just have to do what I have to do,
mm,
and that's not ideal. But
mm,
it's like, well, what's the worst? Which is interesting because I'll talk about that, and we'll talk about that. What's the worst that's going to happen? I'll have to have a shower that night. Well, big deal, really. There's lots of people far worse, but it's not ideal. But what do you do? So far, I haven't had to do that. I've managed to tee up accommodation wherever I'm going, so that's worked out all right.
you're doing
And
good.
for better for worse, I've met people who've been doing this for years, and I have, off and on. We've actually been doing it for 5 or 6 years with a bit of a gap, but probably 3 years of that was in a leased place. But other than that, that's what we've been doing. Um, and you have to, getting back to what you're saying, you have to be supremely organised. Pack everything in a
Mm.
nice way. Make sure you can get access to things quickly if you need to, and labels and things like that. It's a little harder because now I've got some lighting equipment and stuff like that. So you got to be careful you don't keep accumulating things and then realize you've got to get it back in the car.
It amazes me how mobile you are. And I just think that's kind of freedom. But I mean, everything there is a lot of glamour attached to it. Really relaxed,
There,
or do you?
it's got no. Well, I've been doing it for so long. I suppose I can't say I'm anxious about it. Um,
Mm,
I mean, I'm using the word fear, but it's like, well, yeah, it's a little bit of a stress or a slight bit of anxiety if you think, oh, where am I going to stay? A couple of nights or whatever it is.
mm,
Um,
mm,
uh, I mean, it's probably worse since COVID. The bookings have been coming pretty thick, so it's pretty good. It's probably worse if you went, like I've got a
mm,
month between stays, and that's the real problem. Mostly from the financial point of view, because it can be insanely
mm.
expensive just to overnight accommodation here, and so
Yeah,
that's a
yeah, yeah,
huge hit. So
yeah.
that's probably where the any fear or anxiety might come.
Mm.
You know, I look after, I love animals, so I look after dogs and cats and occasionally birds and things with the dog and a cat. So that's nice. It's always nice. And so far, I've stayed in quite nice places.
Yeah.
Kind of the digital nomad, but not moving very far, really.
That's
All,
great.
all around one town. Let's,
But
let's talk
it's
further.
it's a sense of freedom. I mean, you can do that anywhere in the
Yeah,
world,
that's
you
right.
know.
You can. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Mm.
Um,
Yep.
so how do you classify? It's interesting talking about fear and anxiety because they're all on a scale, I guess. Um, you know,
Yeah.
mild discomfort is one on the way to maximum fear, if you know what I mean. So have you experienced, you would have, but when did you truly experience true fear, real fear?
As in fear of my life?
Well, I suppose that's
Fear for my life?
that's kind of the question, because it's what is the ultimate fear? It's probably that, isn't it? Or your
Fear
children
for
or
my
something
life,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
has that ever been a case for you?
Where I feared for my life?
Correct.
Um, well, look, I had some close calls,
Yeah.
but I was lucky.
Yeah.
It didn't get to that stage. It could have gotten to the stage where I was fearing for my life, but I managed to. I think for a few minutes I was. Yeah, interesting. No, not where, oh my God, I'm going to die tonight, but
Yeah.
where it's like, if I don't get out of this situation, I don't know
Mm.
what's going to happen to me type of
Mm.
fear.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. So I think you make it through that fear. You either go one of two ways. You just live in fear for the rest of your life, or you'll just sort of go, you know what? I got through that. Nothing is going to scare me.
Yeah.
Just depends on who you are. But I think I think fear is an interesting thing. I think it's a very layered thing. I don't think it's just one type of. I mean, there's, fight or flight
Yeah.
or freeze, like fear for your life, a primal fear.
Yeah.
There's also fear of the unknown, and you know, that's a big one, fear of the unknown. And I think that's what a lot of people, myself included, have as a really big obstacle to
Yeah.
get out of the way, fear of the unknown. And it's kind of like you can do it like a band-aid. You can either like rip it off completely and just
Yeah.
go, "Boom," do it, right? And it
Yeah.
really freaking hurts for a short, sharp period of time. And then you're like, okay. Or you just rip it off one bit at a time, and it takes ages and it's painful, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's carry fear of emotional pain. So that tends to be what um, personally holds me back from doing the things I need to do that, are actually going to get me out of that, if you know what I mean. It's just like facing fear with fear, I guess, like feel the fear and do it anyway. But the very thing that you're scared of is the very thing that's going to set you free, you know? Like it's that kind of thing.
So what steps or what advice do you have, or what things have you found in the past that kind of help you step through that fear and just get on with it?
Um, Desire. Yeah, because I think when we really want to do something, we just
Yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
you know, and nothing stops us.
Yeah.
So, and discomfort,
Yeah.
the level of discomfort gets to an unbearable point, and it becomes untenable, and then it's just like, time to check out.
Right.
And mm,
Have you
so
have you tried the Mel Robbins things? 5 4 3 2 1. Jump.
um, every morning, God bless Mel Robbins. It's how I get out of bed.
That's a get out of bed thing.
Um, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, look, I think eventually we have a choice.
Mm.
We either face it
Mm.
and face everything and rise, or fear everything and run.
Yeah.
So I'd rather the former.
Yeah.
I think that's in my character. But again, it's a process, and it's a case of, yeah, it's a process. You get to the point in your life where you go, yeah, okay, it's time now.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm diving in, ready or not, here I come,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Especially with business, I think that's you come to a crossroads, and I'm full disclosure, here I am, doing a podcast about being an ethical affiliate, and that's exactly what I am, 100% an ethical affiliate, yet I'm so new to the game. And
Yeah.
the stumbling blocks, I have to say, and for that I have found, have got nothing to do with the validity of affiliate marketing, and everything to do with who I
That's true.
am and my own limitations that I place upon myself, right?
Yeah.
And it all comes down to fear of, whether it's failure, fear of success, it's fear of some sort. And
Mm.
fear is such a strong thing that keeps us comfortable,
Yeah.
and it also makes us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's just like scales, I guess. One, at some point, one's going to outweigh the other, and you're going to move forward. And
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
anyone in business that is struggling out there, that's running their business, and whatever personal reasons, because it comes down to yourself. I don't give a shit what anyone says. It always comes down to yourself, right? Whatever's not working in your life's got nothing to do with anyone else but you. And the
Yeah.
sooner you see that, the sooner you can actually have an honest conversation with yourself, no matter how hard it is, and
Yeah.
make some real choices in your life, right? Whether it's business or personal. And especially in business, I think people fail to see, although they're cluing into it, what what a phenomenally strong industry this affiliate marketing is.
Mm.
The affiliate marketing industry is, and how empowering it can be if you allow that power to come through you, because the power is all within you. And the whole thing about this way of working, whether you're a coach, whether you're in affiliate marketing, it all boils down to how you show up in the world, because people are buying you. People are affiliating with you, and they're trusting you, with your recommendations, and
Yeah.
and they're following what you're saying, So at some point, you've got to keep yourself honest if you want to be ethical. And that's hard, man. That's hard. And it's full of fear-facing shit.
Yeah.
So if you're stuck in your business, if your business really resonates with who you are, or if you're not doing anything, you've got to ask yourself what you're scared of. When it comes to things that you personally align with, you do not need to attach yourself to any organization or any one person with affiliate marketing. You can just do you, right? So that is like this, it doesn't align with me business is a load of shit, because the only thing that doesn't align with you is you,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you got to ask yourself that question. Um, you can't blame anything external, So, and fear is a gripper. It has its tentacles very tightly wrapped around us, because it's part of what keeps us safe. But it's also part of what keeps us sometimes in a really gilded cage, like,
Mm.
and a gilded cage is
So
much
true.
harder to leave than a shitty, rusty one, Shitty, rusty cages are easy. It's like, fuck, man, I don't want this shit. Get me out of here, right? But gilded cages, man, they're tough, because they're so plush and nice, and
Yeah,
but
well,
nice of you.
there's not enough pain there, is there? It needs to be more pain
There's
to
not
get
enough
get
discomfort,
you out
which
of there.
brings me to my next freaking question about human nature, which does my head in, primarily because it's me. Why do we have to be so freaking uncomfortable in order to live at our best? What is it about the human condition? Although I don't see that in you. I'm just like, how do you do it, man? Like, how do you do it?
What do you mean? How do I How do I
You
do things
don't
without
wait
getting
till your
too
life.
uncomfortable?
You don't. Yeah, I think you just are able to just make a choice and stick to it, and that's it.
I
You
know in
know,
some
there's no
areas of
toing and frying with you.
in some areas of life
But
I have
me, I'm
a
like,
in some areas of life I have a low tolerance to whatever's going on. So then that's when I change. So I'm kind of answering your question by answering your question. It's no, I'm sorry, I'm kind of answering your question by just saying what you said, because for me, for example, putting weight on, I mean, I haven't put any much weight on really. I mean, it's just a joke, really. I put on 3 or 4 kilos at the worst my entire life, and it's over. I've got to do something about it. So it never goes beyond a very low, couple of kilos. And, you
mm.
know, for anyone Americans listening, 6 pounds or something like that, it's nothing, 5 pounds. So and then it's like I look at myself and go, right, I've just got to stop whatever I'm doing. There's probably something I know what it is, and then I change my course. So years ago, I would have been drinking, or now, well, not now, but it could have been I'm eating literally too many carbs in some form or another. It could have been cakes or something, or whatever. I don't know, or not going to the gym. So a combination of all those things. So I have that low tolerance where I go, okay, it's time to change. But some areas of my life, so that's the point of how much I value health and fitness and nutrition and stuff. On the other hand, there's some areas of life, like perhaps like bill paying, where I've got a really tolerance for just letting it get too long, going on too long, too many phone calls. So,
I really don't think you're alone there. You are not,
I'm being
as
really
my
honest
darling
there.
mother-in-law says, Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah, well, you're right. Most people seem to have that. I've rarely find people who so neatly organised, everything's on time, paid when the bill comes in. They are a rarity, but sometimes I think I push it a bit much because it's on your mind. It's a pain. People ring and I mean, I don't answer the phone half the time anymore because they're spammers usually. 9 times out of 10, it's like, no, thanks, I don't need a website or whatever. But
Mm.
so it's not all perfect. I'm just saying. But yeah, maybe. I mean,
Well, I think we all have our challenges.
Yeah,
We all
yeah,
have our challenges.
yeah. I like the feeling of
But
being organised.
yeah, but I see that ability. There's a self-discipline that is there with you in terms of keeping it all contained. You don't really let much spill over. When it comes to bills, there's this, like, you know what? The corporations can wait for their money. Like, who gives a shit? You'll get your money, but you'll get it when I can give it to you. And at the moment, I can't give it to you, so leave me the fuck alone, right? And that's cool. Like, I get that totally. But everything else, you just seem very kind of decide you're going to do something and you do it, and there's no deviating from that. So,
That's true. Yeah.
and I think that's a testament to how you feel about yourself too.
Mm.
If that carries with it a certain amount of self-respect,
Yeah.
that one needs to have for oneself in order
Yeah.
to be able to do things like that.
Yeah.
Because having self-respect and self-love isn't always about what you want. Half that's part of it, but the other part is about what you need
Mm.
and the self-discipline. And I saw this is one good thing about social media and scrolling. I come across the best quotes, and this one that I came across the other day was now I've forgotten it. Can you believe that? That is so annoying.
It'll
It's
come back.
yeah, maybe it won't. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. So anyway, it'll probably come back to me when I listen to this and go, oh yeah, I remember. But yeah, damn it, what was that quote? That's annoying.
While you're thinking about that, I think we all know we're not covering new ground in saying that pretty well all these fears are totally ungrounded, but we know that nevertheless it's real to us. The challenge with ringing someone you don't want to ring or whatever it is. making a sales call or whatever it is. It's like it feels like a real fear, although maybe we wouldn't even describe it at that at the time. It's just like anxiety, and there's a lot of head chatter going on, isn't there, about this and that, why, blah, 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 they mightn't like me, blah, 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 all that sort of bullshit. And, and sometimes I've even fixed that problem, at least temporary, while I'm on that by actually listening to the chatter and just making the freaking call at the same time. And it's like, you keep talking, I'm just going to make the call while you're busy. It's actually
Can you
worked.
split your brain into like that?
Well, you can't, obviously, but it's like, while you're talking and saying all this stuff to me, I'm just going to make the bloody phone call. And same thing with jumping in a cold swimming pool or something like that. It's like, okay, no worries, it's going to be cold, blah, 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 but I'm in the water. And so it's just doesn't always work.
Yeah.
The
So
chatter
we were
stops.
talking.
The chatter stops.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I think we were talking about getting to a point where you just have to make a decision about going all in and being okay with that and facing your fear about that, facing whatever fear surrounds your lack of forward movement,
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, you can stay where you are, that's fine, but it's just going to be not fulfilling really for some, not for me anyway. Yeah, so fear is it's an interesting thing. Yeah, how it can hold us.
I wrote down years ago, I don't know where I got it from, but a thing called the fear process, and it's a 3-step process to help you with fears and worries and things like that. And it's essentially really, well, you can do, if you've got a lot of worries and fears about things, you can do a whole, get a legal pad and write down everything you want. But essentially write down all your worries and fears or a particular fear that you have. And then you list, probably this is the brainstorming sort of thing, you list all the possible things that can happen. What would happen if you, I don't know, ran out of money or something like that. So you list all that stuff. And the third step after you've done all that and you've exhausted everything is you write down, can I handle it? And of course, it's kind of a loaded question because of course you can. It's almost nothing that you could actually stand. And if someone asked you a question, there's almost nothing where you go, no, I couldn't handle that. I mean, you might, that's kind of a metaphor, but you'd say something like, oh, I literally couldn't handle that. Well, that's ridiculous because we can handle anything. We can handle anything. It's not ideal. It's not great. But, other than dying, anything above that is you're handling it in some way or shape or form. And it may take years to fix, or it may take a week, or it may take 5 seconds. But it's like you get to that point where you go, yeah, of course I can handle it. It's just still a lot of head stuff going on. And, it kind of lightens the whole mode, the whole feel about it. So,
yes,
worth trying.
It is.
For those fears that have really been lagging, it's sitting around for a long time. The easier fears, because I like to say, and I think I made this up, fear is the dragon that hides the treasure. It's something you have to go through, and there's always treasure behind the fear. And whether it's built up your self-confidence and makes it easier next time, was actually, you have a win. You start a business like we're in. It's like so many people probably think about starting an online business, affiliate marketing or not, and you look like in the TARDIS and you're just going off and coming back. So many people probably can think for years, 10 years, 15 years about starting a business, and it goes on and on. And, it's time to sort of really just, what's the worst thing that can happen? Well, that's a rhetorical question. It's up to the person, but it's usually not much. Given this sort of business now, it's so easy to find out information how to do it. So many great products, things we always talk about on our podcast. So easy. It's simple to do. It's not necessarily easy. It is hard sometimes, especially in the first year or 2 or 3.
Well, not if you get a good VA. You get a good VA,
but the information's
really. There. Sorry?
A VA or cat? That was a cat, actually.
Ah. You get a good VA. VAs are just, you get a good VA and you're laughing because VAs are your are the ones that bring you your business, you know, so you can focus on what you're good at, you know, whether that's content creating or writing or making music and posting about it.
Yep.
Like a VA, really, VA is key. And they check with you. You get a good VA and they check in with you, and you run your business well, that person becomes your right-hand person, and you give them bonuses and you reward them for how they're helping you build your business, you know, and yeah, it's a big thing in affiliate marketing, and it actually takes so much of the legwork away so that you can focus on what you're good at. You know, like for you, for instance, with your filmmaking, your photography, you get a VA to bring in your leads, and you know, I mean, that's all in a perfect world, but there are ways of doing it, is my point.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
there's lots of ways. There are lots of
it.
ways to do it, and, you know, because AI is a big part of that now too. You know, AI is a VA in another respect. If you use it that way, it can help. And certainly you need to, you know, we both state that you need to sort of know what you're talking about and experience the thing that you're going to end up handing to your VA, so you can A, explain it well, and B, know that they're doing it properly and not BSing you about, oh, you know, I did this and did that. You know, no, it doesn't actually work like that. So totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So any other thoughts on fear? Fears, anxiety, stress?
I think it's really important to not let it stop you from doing what it is you need to do, because it is, if you have something in your heart that you feel you need to do and it scares you, you got to do it.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's just going to bite at you for the rest of your life and slowly eat you away. And you'll not only take your spirit down, you'll take the spirit of those around you with you. So it's not worth it.
No.
Not worth it.
What have you been watching? What have you been listening to? What have you been reading this week?
Live, recorded live, unedited. I've been looking at a lot of real estate websites.
Yep.
Actually, I wanted to mention my friend's books that she wrote. Give me 1 second and I'll bring up the info. Just give me 1 sec, sorry. Actually, I can't remember what the titles were, but I will give them to Tim and put them in the show notes.
What's the subject matter?
She wrote, it is to do with transplants, heart transplants. Yeah, and they were on the project, actually, these friends of mine.
Yeah. Heart transplants.
Yeah. Yep. So here we go.
Who would have thought we'd talk about heart transplants?
It is Rainbows in the Storm.
Yeah.
It was written by Angela Cans, and she is one of my closest friends, actually, and her son, daughter, and husband have restrictive cardiomyopathy, and they've all had to receive heart transplants.
Wow.
So she's written a couple of books on it, and one of them is Rainbows in the Storm. And also her daughter, Luca Angel, wrote a book about her journey in heart transplanting called The Heart of Me. Right. So yeah, so they're
Oh, I think we've lost your video. Your audio has disappeared. I'll just keep talking until it comes back. Oh, no. Gonna have to do some cuts in here. Has it gone flat or something?
Hello. Is that
Oh, there you
better?
go.
Yep. Sorry, my mic turned off. Ooh, that little green light. Ah, good fun.
I'll
Oh,
I'll edit that out.
okay. You've got some work to do. How about you? What are you reading? Excuse me.
Well, I'm still reading, and I don't know if you know. I don't even know if I mentioned this last time, but I'm still reading. Oh gosh, what it's called? Something about dietary fats. Anyway, diets and dietary fats by
Mm-hmm.
Nina Teichholz. Yeah,
Right.
it's a fascinating read into, well, for me, into how we went astray with what human nutrition was over the last 100 years or so. And ironically enough, I'm in a house with some very old cooking books which I was just looking at a couple of hours ago. And the foods and things that we were eating 20, 30 years ago, it's just amazing what people were eating. And, there's lots of uh, steak and kidney pie and liver and, organ meats and things like that, and basic beef and pork, and then there's also a selection of cakes and things like that. So it's just interesting. Butter, you know, talking about dietary fats and saying fats are important, but don't overdo it, sort of thing. It's like it's in that midst point where, and she did, whoever this was, mentioned that the government is advising, not eating too much fat. So it's obviously that stage, it's probably the 60s where that was starting to change. Due to some misinformation coming out of the States. But so it was interesting, though, prior to that, quite different. So the cookbooks changed radically after that. Anyway, I just found that interesting. So is your audio's gone again? I'm going to keep talking. So we're just about wind up. This is episode number 19. And we have a great interview with a great guest who's in the affiliate marketing space next week. And that'll bring us to 20, which we're both very proud of. And I'm just talking amongst myself, me and the cat, hoping that Ida will come back on. Sign language. No, don't know that. Great entertaining stuff for people on YouTube. Not so good if you're just on a podcast, on audio only.
There we go.
Here she goes. Back. There you go. Yes, it was the
Sorry
headphones.
about that.
That's
all
all right.
sorts of issues tonight.
That's good. So that's about it. Yes, we've got an interview next week, correct?
Yes, we do. Beautiful Glenys J. Moore, who is an absolute love of a human, incredible person who's done very well in affiliate marketing, and all whilst running 2 farms. Oh my goodness. That woman is nothing short of amazing.
Is she in Queensland or New South Wales?
There's a half-hour difference, so I'm not too sure. Maybe South Australia. I think I've got to find that out.
Well, I didn't consider that. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's find out this week.
Yes, we shall indeed.
All right. Awesome. Well, it's good. It's good night for me.
And goodbye. Adios. See you next time from moi. Thanks, you.
Everyone.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe and all of that.
That's it.
Catch us on Facebook, The Ethical Affiliate on Facebook. Just Facebook it. And you can hear us on Apple, Spotify, Podbean. And thank you so much for taking the time. Have a great week.
Yep. And speak next week.
Speak next week.
Bye.
Bye.